In fact, Mr. Padilla, an email from you to another Backpage supervisor seems to imply that Backpage even artificially limited the number of reports it made to organizations like NCMEC. You stated, and I quote, in this email, "If we don't want to blow past 500 reports this month, we shouldn't be doing more than 16 a day." Now, to be clear, what you're saying is underreport, because we don't want them to know how bad it is. Can you explain to the committee what would be the motivating factor for you telling the people on the front lines that overcautiousness when it comes to selling children for sex could be a problem, or why it would be a problem if you accurately reported the number of ads you were seeing where children were for sale?
After consultation with counsel, I decline to answer your question based on the rights provided by the Fifth and First Amendments.
Similarly, in an email to Mr. Farrar regarding the term, quote, Amber Alert, end of quote, in Backpage ads, you stated, quote, "I've actually seen that before and we've edited it out." Mr. Padilla, can you confirm that Backpage and its moderators routinely edited out Amber Alert, a term referring to an emergency alert of a child abduction, from adult ads?
After consultation with counsel, I decline to answer your question based on the rights provided by the Fifth and First Amendments.
Mr. Padilla, am I to understand from your responses that you will invoke your Fifth Amendment right in response to any and all questions posed to you here today?
Yes.
Let the record reflect that you have availed yourself of the privileges afforded you under the Constitution, under the Fifth Amendment, to not give testimony that might tend to incriminate you. The subcommittee respects your constitutional right under the Fifth Amendment to decline to answer the questions, and you are excused from the witness table. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Given these communications, Mr. Lacey, do you admit that illegal behavior forms the cornerstone of user activity on Backpage?
After consultation with counsel, I decline to answer your question based on the rights provided by the First and Fifth Amendment.
Mr. Lacey, do you acknowledge today for the record that child sex trafficking is a serious problem on Backpage?
After consultation with counsel, I decline to answer your question based on the rights provided by the First and Fifth Amendment.
In February of 2012, for example, when a moderator asked if she could delete an ad based on a parent reporting that her missing underage daughter had been forced into prostitution, Mr. Padilla stated, and I quote, "Yeah, I think that's doing enough. We don't always want to remove ads based on user complaints, but she isn't being dramatic." Mr. Lacey, I understand that reporting guidelines at Backpage were vague, but is it a requirement that parents not be dramatic in order to have ads featuring their underage children removed from your site?
After consultation with counsel, I decline to answer your question based on the rights provided by the First and Fifth Amendments.
Mr. Lacey, am I to understand from your responses that you will invoke your Fifth Amendment right in response to any and all questions posed to you here today?
Clearly.
Let the record reflect that you have availed yourself of the privileges afforded you under the Constitution's Fifth Amendment not to give testimony that might tend to incriminate you. The subcommittee respects your constitutional right under the Fifth Amendment to decline to answer questions, and you are excused from the witness table. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.